Get rocking and rolling. Welcome to another Thursday evening community connection homecoming with Mastery Systems. It's an honor to have you here. And just people tend for the next 5 minutes, people are just piling in. We're just training everyone. We start at the top of the hour. So just by a show of hands for who's here so far, is there anyone here that this is your first experience with Mastery Systems? So Jewel, and these are people who are, I am all new because we're all new every day that have deep resonance with our company. For those who are seeing the recording, high level Mastery Systems, we have multiple transformational technologies designed to really help you be who you are, help you do your mission with radiant joy, be who you are, have the past all transformed into your glorified self-expression. There's multiple technologies we have to do that. We also have a book that is a 56-year culmination of Robert Tennyson Stevens' life work, that he's given away everything he's brought forth for our planet in one book. It's brilliant. Another book that we're going to get into a little bit tonight is called Conscious Language, the Logos of Now. And I'm gonna hold off on doing the intro on that. I'll say we also have nutritional support to help your body radiate at a much cleaner frequency as more of you comes online. And we're always available to answer any questions for anyone. Before we go any further, I have the honor of debuting a piano superstar in our midst. Her name is Cynthia Sharp, which Cynthia is a C sharp. C sharp is the hardest it's the hardest tone. What is it? Cynthia, jump in here.
It's the key. It's the
key.
Most
Thank
complicated key in the staff.
Good.
To perform.
Good. So now you're talking. So introduce your song for us.
Yeah, this is called the Electricity Song, if this is the one you chose.
Yes, ma'am.
I composed this when I lived on San Juan Island. The electricity had gone out, as it often did on the island. My children were getting ready for school, and I just thought, it's too quiet. I sat down and played this.
And so just so you understand, we have the artist here tonight, and she says we can share this with you and that it's okay to record it.
Absolutely.
You're going to see the cover of the album that this song is on. It was painted by her daughter, and you'll see a picture of a little girl sitting at a keyboard, at a piano. That is young Cynthia Sharp. Her father took it when she first started learning to play the piano. So talk about coming full circle. Here we go.
Thanks.
Was I the only one who noticed that Cynthia was playing her desk? Did you notice that?
No, I was enthralled.
I couldn't help it. I just,
She's going, you couldn't see her hands, but she's going, I could see it. And she's high note, low note. That was
I could-
beautiful.
thank
Beautiful.
you.
was
Yeah, I can
beautiful.
erase this. That's a fun piece to play.
Thank you for your generosity, sharing that with our tribe.
Yeah.
And I make up that the beauty and grace in your electricity song emanates the same frequency as our topic for discussion tonight. We came up with a topic and it was sort of the past, and yet it's not about the past. Robert Tennyson Stevens in the late 60s was in college, and his professor gave him an assignment to study a book by a man who was named Benjamin Lee Whorf. And Benjamin Lee Whorf studied the Hopi language. And I'm gonna read you a quote from page 22 of a book that everyone here should have. It's $22. Go get it. It's actually, I just got that. It's $22. And I'm gonna read you a quote from page 22, which is a master number. And this is a quote from Benjamin Lee Whorf. It's very big, so let this sink in. I don't have my reading glasses. These are my radiation glasses, so I'm doing one of these.
Yeah, he has to have arm extensions.
This arm extension. So this is Benjamin Lee Whorf. After long and careful study and analysis, the Hopi language is seen to contain no words, grammatical forms, constructions, or expressions that refer directly to what we call time, or to past, present, or future, or to enduring or lasting, or to motion as kinematics rather than dynamic. For example, as a continuous translation in space and time, rather than as an exhibition of dynamic effort in a certain process, or that even refer to space in such a way as to exclude that element of extension or existence that we call time, and so by implication, leave a residue that could be referred to as time. Hence, and that was a lot of words, and this is his summation, hence, the Hopi language contains no reference to time, either explicit or implicit. So this professor blew young Robert Tennyson Stevens' mind. He's like, what? And Robert
Actually, he didn't blow my mind. The author did, and it was an independent study. But I'm if you can imagine, that's an engineer writing about words or linguistics, and I was like, what? I think in space and time. I was over there. I was past tense over there, space. And anyway, it took me from how many years? I wrote my book, Conscious Language Logos, now in 08. So 68, 78, 88, 98, 40 years. It took me 40 years to write my thesis. Yep. Period.
And you learned a little bit about time and about the past and now and the future as a construct that exists in our language by having a language that it didn't exist. How do you describe that in a language that, so this happened then, if then? So Robert, we spoke our outcomes in we always have an alignment meeting to make sure that what we're bringing to our tribe on our Thursday evening events is clean. We learned that by having one a few weeks ago that was it was kind of less than squeaky clean. That was on me, by the way. And I was in the past, wasn't I? Cancel clear. And now,
yeah, right. What
speaking of the past, so Robert, lay some track for us on the power of being here now, and just give us some track to run on and open a dialogue.
So thank you. So this is all new stuff, even though maybe it's in everything I do. I'll put it that way, and what we do. So everyone to be present with each other. My request is we vote victory. And if you're new here, many have heard it with me before, but start with yourself. And you do any way you do it. I'm just going to give you how I do it. I say, I am my own permanent victory in the light. I recommend you do that now, if that works for you. I am my own permanent victory in the light. And then, excuse me, who's ever speaking, I am your permanent victory in the light. I am our permanent victory in the light. So let's do that first. So Scott came up with the idea. That's funny. I just ate something, I guess, because my throat's gone. Anyway, so I'm about my victory. So Scott came up with the past, and I'm going, at first it's like, can you all, how many have certain pasts? It's like, I flushed that a while ago. Did it come back up? Do I have a floater? What's going on? How many know I'm talking about? How many have ever had a, like, flush it again, flush it again, flush it again. All right. So when we take Neville, imagine from The Wish Fulfilled, when we take Benjamin Lee Whorf, there's no Hopi language, there's nothing other than now, but the Hopi didn't have a word for now because they couldn't get out of now. They have to use the word now to get back to now. What? So for me, I started to integrate what finally got resolved in quantum physics. Once I had quantum physics, I could be in quantum mechanics, I could realize a whole nother level of science. So how many thought that events happened in the past? Raise your hand if you thought that things, honestly, if you, how many, oh yeah, something happened, or the family went down, or we lost this, or something didn't work out, or I got boo-booed, or I got whatever. No, it's right here, right now. And so John Ray taught me about electronics, and he said, whenever we go against the law of love, which there's a law of love, his take was we suppress our life and go beyond the ability to remember what we suppress, but it gets stored in our body as a crystalline, three-dimensional thought, word, and feeling memory that broadcasts itself forever until we go back and relive the memory. So how many have ever said, I'll never do that again? And again. And again. Come on now. How many said, I will never pick somebody like my parents? And then you took a perfectly good person and turned them into your parents, mother, father, whatever. Anybody ever? I've read about it. Just kidding. All right. So now, the idea that there's past, and I'll build another one, the scale of emotions, those that have been with me: enthusiasm, pain, anger, fear, grief, apathy, unconsciousness, 7 octaves. So how many went from enthusiasm? Oh, pain came up. I don't like that. Anger, that's not fun. Fear, I don't like that. Grief, oh, woe is me. Apathy, I can't, it's hard. And then I forgot. Unconsciousness. And then how many slip just below that to a smaller pseudo level of, oh, I'm pretty happy now. You're doing pretty good. But how many went down a whole octave? We can see it in the eyes. You can see it in the blood oxygen level. Dr. Rick and I were just talking about this today. And at a very high level, I had to keep saying, what was that word again, Dr. Rick? What was that word again? And he had to keep helping me understand certain things. Wait till you see what we're going to bring forth and what Dr. Ricky is going to champion in all of us. It is so cool. So now tonight, this is maybe much bigger than what it seems. So everyone gear up, play 125, vote victory, see perfection. Yes, yes, yes. So John Ray would say, again, whenever we go against the law of love, why is the memory stored in us, is what I add. It's because we committed on some level to love everything with gratitude. How many believe if we could, we would? So if I go down scale, like let's say a business relationship, and all of a sudden it goes south, and I go, I'll never do that again. And I gave up some of my dream. How many gave up some of your dreams? All right. So if we give up some of our dream, it's still our creator's dream. How many have had to talk ourselves out of our great self? How many have had to defeat I am that I am, or our anointed self, to go down scale, to have doubt or fear or lack, or, well, it's okay, and I really didn't choose that, and God's not going to give it to me anyway, so I'm going to play smaller and smaller. Anyone that steps out of now into past or avoids past, which is stepping into another past, has a karmic pattern created in our body and our world. Our job is to love everything and restore heaven on earth. Yes or no? So, okay, so now I'm going to keep this as simple as I can, as articulate as I can. So whenever we go against the law of love, we go, let's say, downscale. Our greatest weakness, reaction, limitation, struggle, whatever it is the opposite of who we are. Inside of the problem is the solution. Inside of the contraction is the expansion. God is in everything. So how many can begin to just cruise, because we're going to do something with that in a little bit. How many can just cruise through picking a memory of seeming past, and instead of having it be over there, yeah, it's over there. How many are willing to just lean in and go, come on, come and sit at my table. I love you with all my heart. Oh, I love you with all my heart. Lineage stuff, I love you with all my heart. I touch and I stay. And I'm going to share, I shared this on a bio-optic holography session with someone who's on with us right now, but I'm not going to say it was, so you keep it private, but it was really cool. So my eyes are blue. My mom's Scandinavian blue eyes. My dad, Native American primarily, and he had black hair, black brown eyes. My sister had dark brown hair, dark brown eyes. She was 2.5 years older. Now I'm reading eyes. I'm doing eye stuff, iridology back then, all this stuff. I'm doing body electronics. I'm doing all kinds of stuff. By my age of 26, the reason I'm saying this is be aware your whole family is engaged right now. By my age of 26 years old, my sister and my dad my sister's living in Annapolis. My dad's living in East Lansing, Michigan. They both let me know they're separate. They had to go in and get their driver's license changed to blue eyes. They did not do any of this. I'm simply going, no one taught me this happened. I now know what it is. The sins of the parents are visited upon the children for 4 generations. So we can go down. But the minute everyone here, the minute we start to love, touch, breathe, stay, feel, forgive for no reason, we start resurrecting and raising our lineage. Everyone involved in our DNA and everyone touching the hem of our garment, our seamless robe, our aura, our energy field. So right now, if I am willing to have an old memory come, it's still in me, broadcasting. It ain't in the past. How many went over and over? This too shall pass instead of pass. Anyone? I hope this is past. How many going, I'll never do it again. And again, it pops up. No, I don't. Yes. So now, do you get what happened when I started waking up to back then? My age of 26 was whatever I gave to me. I can say it now, articulate it now. Back then, it was just, wow. Whatever I do in me happens everywhere in my lineage. So how do we resurrect the errors? The word sin means error. The word sin is a bad word. It's an inaccurate word without translation because it makes somebody feel ashamed or blamed. Well, no, it's an error. How many have ever driven off the road and felt you went to hell? How many get back on the road? Anyone? How many did it? Come on, how many been in a pretty sucky relationship? How many have? And got out of it and saying, oh, anyone? And had shame or blame or whatever, but how many finally forgave yourself and also you need to walk clean from that? So tonight for me is all about whatever's in the past that I have a charge on is right here, right now. And I can touch whatever I feel and do something glorious with it. And I'll turn it over to my team.
I'm just really realizing if something's in the past and I'm resisting it, I've heard this saying before somewhere, whatever we resist persists. And if the past, I've noticed in the past, there have been things that I dragged with me for 10 years or 25 years. In our I Am All New, this recent was that last weekend or 2 weekends ago? What month is it? There was this thing that happened when I was like 7 or 8 years old that came up. And it came up in a safe space called I Am All New, where that's what it's about. Let stuff come up, transform it. And I realized that there had been an operating system in a relation that something that happened with my dad that was traumatic and happened with my dad and my sister. And so that element that was inside of me, and in some way it had been governing me. So I find myself realizing it wasn't in the past. It was still, if we're keeping it in the present, then you can say it's in the past. And for me, it's if it's still here, if I'm still thinking about it, it's still here. If that makes sense. Adam.
Yeah, something I choose to add, which is such a blessing for all of us, is we all have bodies. We have our physical bodies. And if you have any type of pain, signal, condition, etc. Guess what, y'all? We have yet to handle or resurrect a past signal or situation, or our body would be clean of that particular signal. So if something's acting in your life or knocking on your door that's been repeating for a long time, there's no such thing as past. It's right now, and we can handle it, and we can tell by our language, the words we speak. There, we can tell whether we're dealing with it in the past or whether we're present. We can tell by the sensations in our body and what we feel and experience. So we are so blessed to have physical bodies. And remember, we are not our bodies. We are a rider of this temple. So just notice if you have any signals in your body that they're knocking at your door for you to make a change.
And Adam, what is knocking on the door? Is it more pain?
No, it's the resolution. It's the resurrection. It's the greatest weakness into our greatest strength. That's been knocking for, and as Bob brought up, it may be knocking on our door for centuries, meaning it may have been passed down from our family until we raise our hand and say, yes, I'm the one, I'm going to do it because I can and I choose to. So it's as you study the emotional scale of harmonics, pain is right below enthusiasm. So if we will just address a love and find out what our pain is telling us, then we can enter enthusiasm about that said topic. It's very profound. Period.
Amen. Joshua.
Thank you. I'm learning a lot about the quantum realm, and I'm learning that there is, in the words of Greg Braden, there's no past, there's no future, there's only now. And as we experience now, we experience everything at once. And so we're here now, and we can change reality now. And we choose to change reality now. And so as I press into this, I'm realizing that we are all one, and we're all creating our reality in real time. And so I see that as we connect and as we raise our vibration, we're exiting the old and entering the new, entering the now. I think a lot of us have experienced our past hurts and our past pains because we are experiencing a past paradigm or operating system, as Bob would say. And so as we change our operating system, we change our reality, we change our now. And I am one person that has lived in the past for a long time. And as I break away from this way of thinking, and as I experience the now, I become free. I freer and freer as I am here present now. It's beyond profound, because we have a quantum reality that is not 3D, it's 5D. And we are able, as a collective, as I am, to expand our consciousness and take those things that were in a way of doing things and wrap them up in a way of being. So we're not operating from the past, we're operating in the now. This has changed my entire family. We're all on the Zoom call right now. And as we understand what's really going on here in this reality that we live, we're understanding how to be completely free because we're operating in a different way. So that's all I wanted to say.
That was a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, what he said. And he
gonna
was in
add- I'm gonna add
he
one
was in
thing.
I Am All New last week. So that's a pretty good first week there, brother. When you're done, Josh, please drop your hand so someone else can zoom in there. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, and I love Greg Braden, by the way. I love him. So one thing for me, like if somebody's got a memory of lack, any memory has every direction. So if I have pain, I also have the opposite of pain inside of that memory. All I have to do is look and find out, well, what's returning? If I have fear and I touch my fear, scripture, perfect love casts out, I believe, transforms all fear. That's what I started to find 50 years ago is, oh, well, wait, if somebody's got fear and we do body electronics and they love their fear, they don't just get back to normal. They get massively courageous. Amazing. So if everyone, I listened to Joshua's languaging, and I just add a little bit to it in the sense of there, I don't even have to make a breakthrough. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is let my consciousness get big enough to include the entire energy signature. How many like the idea of just even the word now, N-O-W, and then there's K now, which means I know, but I prefer I K now, whatever that means. So how many love the idea of going, oh, all I have to do is touch anything with love, which is my source code, and a miracle will blossom from within the pattern. I don't have to diminish or get rid of, even change anything. In other words, I just open up to the rest of the energy field or the continuum or the field of what's there, what's here. So again, I'm just adding in, it's like, oh, you mean to say that I've had, like for me, I share this often. I was phobic to speak in public, phobic, not afraid, phobic. My body would shut down in a particular way. And I shared that in classes. And then I'm going to say I was probably 30 some, maybe even 40 when I realized I remembered, oh, I was born tongue-tied. My tongue was attached at the bottom of my mouth, and Adam's going to laugh because I usually say I probably wouldn't be a public speaker. I'd probably be somebody who worked with computers. But if my tongue is attached at the bottom of my mouth, I can't even say computer. So I probably wouldn't even work with computers. Anyway, so, my tongue got cut free. All right. So if everybody can go, wherever I am isn't who I am, it's where I am. And the miracle for me wasn't just I learned how to speak in public. No, I learned how to express myself into myself. No matter who's in the room, there's only one of us here. So do you all get tonight, if I can find something that I've been dragging around in my little red wagon, I'm going to get it and going, stay over there. I don't like you. Hide. And, oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. If I can go touch that thing and not believe in it, not just love it up. I love, I touch, I breathe, I stay, I feel. Miracles immediately begin to transform. And our lineage starts moving up scale. And our loved ones start moving up scale, period.
David Daigle.
David, raise your hand so I can put you over in the other corner, would you? We're going to put you in the corner, brother. Go stand in the corner. It's the one that says raise your hand, not the picture. Yeah, there we go. Me too.
All right, there we go. So my favorite thing in mastery systems is the laws that I've learned. And when I live within these laws, miracles and blessings are just a normal experience daily. And just before I had learned about mastery systems, I had this experience of my greatest weakness becoming my greatest strength. But at the time, I didn't know how to define that. And when I got in mastery systems, it all became clear. And I had this woman climbing a tree and tie a rope around her neck and was threatening to jump off. And I was at work. My full-time job was a firefighter. So on the way to the call, I'm reading the call text. It's saying, you know, she is threatening to jump off. There's already police on the scene. And so normally firefighters don't get the opportunity to negotiate in the moment. We're usually there for the aftermath. And when I get there, the police officer was yelling at her, dropping F-bombs, like, get the F out of that tree. And she's yelling back at him, F you, MFer, you know? And so this officer, I mean, really, I'm not blaming him because no one's trained to do this. So he gets so frustrated that he just walks away. And through teaching yoga, I knew if I could get her to breathe, that she would feel better. So I didn't ask for permission. I just walked under the tree and started talking to her. As I walk up, she yells at me, I hate all men. I was like, well, I'm pretty cool. That cop seemed like a butthead, you know, trying to make a joke. She wasn't laughing. And she just continued to yell at me consistently. So I just talked to her as though she was listening to me. I was like, hey, why don't we just take 2 deep breaths? Watch me. You know, staying super calm. And she wasn't having it. She was just The only time she would stop yelling at me was to take a break to breathe. And then I finally heard a dog barking in the background. And I asked if that was her dog. And she said yes. And that was the first time she acknowledged me. And I was like, well, hey, well, now that I got your attention. And I learned this from Bob later on. I was like, I met her where she was at. I was like, I'm not asking you to do cartwheels. Just take 2 deep breaths. Watch me. And so she goes, fine. That was it. But instantly, the tension left. Everything left. It was just her and I. The entire world left. Just her and I having this conversation. She immediately starts sharing with me the source of her strength. She was abused by her father. She couldn't take it anymore. And I told her it's no accident that I'm here, because I went through sexual abuse myself, and I've been able to glue my heart back together. And though my heart may walk with a limp, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And when I get to share my story with others, it's very healing for me and healing for the other person. And I'm sharing this with her, and I can see her starting to shake her head, like starting to agree. And I said, let's take some more deep breaths. So we go through some more breath work. Now she's really getting into the breath work. And I said, I bet when you glue your pieces back together, you get to share your story, and it's going to be healing for you and maybe part of your mission in life. And so after a few more rounds of breaths, she takes the rope off of her neck and then climbs down out of the tree. As she's getting down, I told my partner to go get her dog. We meet in the ambulance. At this point, there's no medical emergency, just she's needing some help mental help, so she's holding this dog on the ambulance, and the dog knows something's up. Like the dog's like hugging her neck. And I'm kind of a goofy guy in tense situations. So I was like, hey, I have to ask you the most important question of the night right now. So she's looking at me like, okay. And I said, what's your favorite color? And she goes, pink, and starts laughing. And so I was, in that moment, it was a profound shift in me, that to go from wanting to end it all to laughing 10 minutes later and finding her mission in life. And I didn't have all the answers at that moment. And then I came to Mastery Systems. I started putting all these pieces of the puzzle together of what happened, the breathing, the loving, my greatest weakness becoming my greatest strength in that moment. Something that tortured me at times for decades and triggered me, where I would just neurotically pray to get the thoughts out of my head, and to be able to shift someone out of suicide. And since then, there's been 6 others that have shifted out of suicide. As soon as I share my story, something I hid for decades, 3 decades, I never told anyone. And now when I share it, people don't want to kill themselves anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to share. That my greatest weakness is your greatest strength. Thanks, Adam, for bringing that up and reminding me of how profound that is.
Wow, man. Yeah. So is there, what in our lives have we in the past had a tendency to resist, or to like stamp down to the point where I'm not telling anyone, right? And so, Robert, I'm imagining you could sort of distinguish for us that bow pullback analogy that David did.
Well, he's still doing it. Daggone, man. He's still doing it. I mean, truth. How many love, like, how many been addicted to, people love trauma, whatever. I love victory. Anybody else love victory? I love miracles. I love somebody going, man, I got a miracle. I'm like, I'm addicted to miracles. I love hearing the truth manifested. And David coming in to understand for me, like NLP, when NLP came out, it's like, that's what I've been doing. I didn't have the words of Bandler and Grinder, find the belief system, the syntax and physiology. I would just go back to whatever mentor, whatever situation. I went, how did that happen? I'm going to find, now I can say the belief system, the syntax, the order, and the physiology, and I'm going to model it, have the same thing. So I really believe we're at the point right now of walking in love, the anointed self. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking that every one of us have a white fire being self inside, a second self inside. I happen to call it Christ, my Christ self. And I find we're either annoying or anointed. And I think that's a cute little story, so I share it. But how many have ever met people that are somewhat less than anointed and a little annoying? All right. So David went in and shared his truth and raised all these people every single time. Now David will be able to teach a system of it. Yes or no, David? Me too. I didn't know if somebody would have come to me in my senior year, and when I failed, even though I got an A because I was having people pass out because I was phobic. I mean, it was a wild ride. If somebody would have come and said, Bob, here's the way it works. You couldn't speak. That's going to be the opposite of who you are. And I would have gone, bull crap. I will never speak in public again. I have a negative and whatever. Well, I didn't come to speak in public. I didn't have all the information. I just knew there was a contraction as tight as it could get that took over autonomically for me. So I was in fight or flight. I'm going to get that. And David went through trauma, his version early on, carried it for decades, as he said. So the pulling the bow back, now that David is first, he's already victorious. Now, for me, with all the getting good understanding, we have a system where we can moment to moment to moment to moment follow the path, the steps of the system. The law, simply law, it's in scripture. It's in everywhere. It's in quantum physics. Everywhere that's true, it's in there. And for me, David, now anyone that has a contraction, without David having to do a thing or even know, he immediately helps them find expansion. Same with me. Same with everybody here voting victory. How many get, oh, I give myself like my sister and my dad. How many get that? Their eyes changed to blue, which means more light came in their body. There was no proof that that could ever happen. Right now, anyone that's feeling and letting in and loving and touching and breathing, everyone in your lineage is coming upscale with you. Be aware. Put your prayers with your whole family to be resolved. Have your whole family forgive everything. How many get that? How many love that right now? Just sit down and you don't go, oh, I need to get them. No, that's not the way this works. You feel forgiveness in you, and your family simultaneously feels forgiveness in them. I'm going to say it again. Scripture, again, not religion, just law. Scripture, whatever you've done unto the least of these, God says you've done unto me, which I believe is our feeling world, which is all life everywhere. So how many realize, David, now I bet you can't help raise people up, David? Yes or no? Yeah, I love that, bro. That's so good. And that's the point. Everyone gets to the point that we literally are a flame of transformation. Everyone is. How many get? We all are. And the past is simply being broadcast. And all I have to do is touch, love, breathe, stay, feel, and relive the memory and find out what it turns into once it meets love. David, go ahead.
So for me, the forgiveness part was tough because I had a vision back then of taking these people off the planet that hurt me. And I thought I had to hold on to this resentment and anger to keep my boundaries. And I've recently learned or remembered that I can keep my boundaries and love everyone equally. To keep my grace by loving evil equally, or what I would,
How about flipping that evil?
Yeah.
Everyone,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So voting victory. So something that was a aha moment for me was, I've heard you say love is forgiving. Love is forgiving. And I was like, yeah, that's cute. That's cute. Well, what shifted for me was I give myself permission to forgive person X. Well, I was like, well, if love is forgiving, I can say I give myself permission to love person X. And I was like, oh, love is forgiving. It was the same thing. It's an interchangeable word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those people that I had major resentment for, I now love and know that hurt people hurt people.
And how's about this? Hurt people, there's a vortex. Evil is the reverse of live. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a counter, so to speak, a counterclockwise vortex. So if you've ever studied some of this stuff, like when this pure essential oil goes in, I learned this when I was 20-some years old from Marianne Jager. It's in My Word Made Flesh. She would say a negative vortex, when you put a pure oil on it, makes it, it just does a hydrogen flip. It turns it over and it becomes positive, life-giving. So the evil, when forgiven and not accept it, not act it out, not react to it, not make it wrong, not shoot it. I mean, end it if need be. Okay, we can do that. But how many love the idea of taking whatever's on the planet right now and imagine legions of divine love angels moving across the face of the earth, purifying, raising, and replacing all negative vortex into positive vortex through the power of grace and divine love. And only love can do that, not being more right. So do you get the evil is simply the inverse of live? Yeah, I mean, so again, the past, how many are, I'm going to ask this now because it's part of what I committed to for what we're doing today. How many have got a memory that's starting to soften from that seeming past? Remember, it's not only going to soften and get better, it's going to actually birth a miracle. And it'll be a miracle for everyone connected to you. How many can just allow that? And for me, it's a weeping. You know, how many have heard of the gnashing of teeth? How many have heard that idea? So whenever there's conflict between feeling and thinking, that is the lower jaw's feeling, the upper jaw's thinking. So the gnashing of teeth is conflict between what we feel and what we think, usually between right and wrong, that kind of stuff. Between mom and dad could be whatever. So how many realize as we forgive that which is unforgivable, by the way, sidebar, every single human being will have to, in my experience, except by grace, maybe that happens, go through the spiritual test of forgiving whatever is unforgivable, because everything is forgiven.
Amen. Teresa has her hand up.
Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I've been reintroduced to this lately after not doing much after 2009. And these last 2 weeks since I've started really participating in the all that I am, I just see miracles all over the place. And these stories are making me feel comfortable and coming out, shall we say. And I thank you. I thank you.
This is how many, is this music to your heart, anyone? Yes or no? I mean, and how many, this is, if you know, I'm such a little kid, I'm back in Sunday school. It's like in the twinkling of an eye, like a thief in the night. In the twinkling of an eye, like a thief in the night. So for me, I study eyes, and people get their eyes, their peepers twinkling. How many like that idea of, I mean, that's really what this is all, and instantly, like a thief in the night, we will go from counterclockwise by grace into clockwise, so to speak, into life. Thank you, dear.
That's a high point of my day. Knowing knowing that our commitment to being of service to people and, you know, coming online with who you are today is you made all of our day. Thank you. There was another hand up. It was Joshua, and he put his hand down. So if you have something, pop back in.
Yep.
Rick has his up too. Go ahead, Joshua.
I just want Bob to repeat what he just said. And I don't, not to put this spot on you, but that was
put the spot on me. I can handle it. Go ahead.
Oh, let's go.
He's got a slow connection right now.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Let me
Maybe just turn your video off and then just keep your audio on.
Stop video. Yes, sir. So just if you could go back over what you just said.
Does anybody remember what I just said?
Because it was very profound.
Anyone?
I'm struggling.
Cancel. I choose to make it fun. I remember. If it's true, you'll remember it. Anyone? I just cruise along at light speed, so.
The gnashing of teeth that back in.
Oh, are you talking about the twinkling of the eye, Josh?
Before that.
You were saying that evil was the opposite of live.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so what's your question about that?
I again, not to put you on the spot, but I just want you to go over that again.
Okay, all
because-
right. So
Yep.
everyone, I'm going to really mess a little bit potentially. Those that are last shall be first.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'll mute. I'll mute.
Don't mute. I'm loving it, dude. This is what we're here for. This is a community. This isn't right, wrong, appropriate. Got it? So
yeah.
everyone who, I mean, if you had, I used to be terrified, absolutely terrified of anything to deal with the number 666. If I got a receipt back for 666, I'd buy something else.
Oh my.
Anyone? I mean, and it was 6 carbon, 6 weight. It's just the number of man. It's no big deal. It's like whatever. But I finally realized that the illusion, I'm going to call it the Beazle dingy dangy bubble double. I'll leave it at that. The illusion.
Sorry. I didn't know I was not muted. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I'm listening. My phone's ringing, by the way. It's pretty funny. I mean, the other room, it's all good. So do you get that the darkness is serving the light quite well? How many get that? I'm not going down that road. I'm going to the light. Anyone? So I'm not saying dance with it, but all things work together for good for those who love God. I'm going to get it. I love God. Just say it. And let's just stay with, if God is for me, why even ask who to be against me? If God is for me, and again, 4 is fourth dimensionally me, then love God. And I found through studying a lot of different study of scripture is written for every consciousness. It's written for every state of consciousness. And those things that are wonderful, lovely, beautiful, glorious, put our attention on that. And how many love the idea of walking in grace? Yes, don't have to battle. There's no battle. God already won. Anyone? How many love God already won? I mean, I might have to stand on that. I might have to scream that puppy out. God is the only presence and power acting here now and forever in the name of the ascended Jesus Christ. I may have to say that 500,000 times. All right, I'll say it 500,000 times. That's my way.
Ia has her hand up, Bubby.
Go ahead, Ia.
I'm loving today. I love every gathering, but I just choose to say I'm loving today. I love coming to these gatherings, and I have nothing profound to say about it. I'm just in grace. And as you started talking at the beginning of the gathering, for me, this is church. When I was a child, I have a distinct memory of begging my parents to take me to church. And they said, well, if you want to go there, you can go by yourself. So they dropped this little 4-year-old off, and into church I went because I was so hungry for spirit. And I left the institution long ago. I think I went once. That was the once. But when I come into these classes, my spirit ignites, and that's what church is for me. It's the coming together in the name of there's no name. I am just coming together in truth. And it is amazing because before the class, it's like I went through the lessons that the class is about. And you started talking, and I remembered my past and what there is to, what came up for me. And then just immediately grace just wrapped my arms around my whole past. And I know already I'm forgiven, and I know already I am victorious. And my victory is everyone who's in my past is victorious. Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as that. So just thank you. I'm in grace, and I love today.
And how many know being in grace is as profound as it gets? Anyone? I mean, that to me is like, that's the most profound state for me, is to realize right now I can be in grace and be grateful. So yeah. And I'm going to share one thing about parents. I'm on a roll. Forgive me, everybody.
And then after you do, Rick has his hand up. So
I know.
Make your last word about molecular something.
Yeah, I will come. How many, the sins of the parents are visited upon the children. Those of us who are parents, who are resurrecting ourselves, raising ourselves, forgiving, we are reversing the curse on our lineage. We're restoring our lineage into heaven on earth. So, and I see little Mateo, whenever you bring him on, I see that being. I mean, the most focused little being of light. And I know, I mean, whatever the words are, I experience, that's it. I experience his trajectory in life being so clean by what mom and dad are doing and have done. I'm so grateful.
Ashe.
Richard Allen Esmond Jr.
Yes, thank you, Ia.
Mhm.
I'm choosing to speak to Josh, and I love science, and I really love finding nuggets. And our system is, in the simplest version as I can share it, is CHOS embracing and loving UHOS and transmuting UHOS.
Explain what CHOS and UHOS is.
Yeah,
CHOS
define the acronyms.
CHOS is conscious human operating system, and UHOS is unconscious human operating system. And we have a choice. And through our system, we're able to become conscious of which is operating. And when we are blessed with the gift of UHOS popping up, we love UHOS, and it transmutes our reality in the moment of now, and we are able to choose consciously. And our entire being and all of the molecules of our body resonate with our new choice and our conscious expression, especially with love. In my personal experience, I was at the last All For You that transmuted before our eyes during that weekend into I Am All New. And Bob did some coaching and of decrees. And I really got it that day. That was Saturday, Sunday. I think it was Sunday. About the power of my decrees and speaking my decrees into my body and feeling my feet vibrate with my sound. And the simple, in a similar way that I love, I touch, I breathe, I stay, and I feel, help me feel present, help me be present. I can and I am. I can into my left foot. I am into my right foot. And, and if I'm bumping along in my day and for whatever reason I'm experiencing a jostle about my reality or my perception of my reality, boom, baby, I can into my left foot. I am into my right foot. Even when I'm out on the bicycle, as I'm cooking along and I have the opportunity to be conscious of what I'm doing. Oh yeah, that's right, I can and I am. And that opens the door for more blessings to flow through as I engage in whatever I'm doing. So anybody excited to use I can and I am, go for it, baby.
These are all artwork that Scott's, they're photographs of artwork of Scott's students when they did LOM, Language of Mastery, with him.
When people came online, you're up next, Joshua. When people in my class would come in, I'd give them one of these and say, hang on to it after we go through the domains of sabotaging language and become conscious. That's when you start coloring. And that was some of the stuff that popped up. So Joshua, go ahead. Rick said he was telling that to you. What'd you get?
Yes. So quickly, there's 3 parts of our brain. There's the reptilian brain, which is our stem, which is our normal, you would call your natural instincts, right? And you have the other part of the brain which escapes my memory, and I choose to remember what it is. And then you have the frontal neocortex. Okay, so there's 3 parts of the brain, and this is our vessel that we're in right now. We have our vessel, and as we understand how we operate at a higher level. And so when we operate at our frontal neocortex, which is our God part of our brain, our pineal gland, we produce life. And so if we operate in our reptilian brain or our unconscious brain, we're just operating. So we project our reality in front of us because we choose to be I am. And man, I'm just getting massive revelations right now, guys. And so like we have a subconscious that is like a supercomputer that just operates constantly at a level that is higher than a supercomputer.
Oh, yeah.
And right? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
And so we're all collectively
I'm
operating.
going to pause you for a minute. I'm let's say 500,000 years advanced of your language. So get this, I'm studying the eyes. So you can now, if I put someone's eye photo up, when we look out, we are broadcasting what we believe to be true onto the world.
Yes.
And so when we change a belief system, the fibers in the eyes change. And so when scripture, it says, when the eye be single, the body is full of light. So when the eye is in the third eye, got it, where the pineal, pituitary, hypothalamus are engaged, and this is visual cortex, this is seeing, this is fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system, survival. So when we move from automatic survival into vision and creation and decree, feeling the meaning in each word deeply enough, literally, and again, when I realized, oh my gosh, the lens of the iris, as an example, is the way we broadcast into our world what we believe to be true. How many love the idea? I mean, to be able to actually see what we're broadcasting. I mean, yes. So do you get that all you have to do is study the eyes, Joshua?
Yes,
and
sir.
you'll be able to go, but you have to see perfection. I can't go, oh, you're broadcasting crap, because that ain't going to work. How many get that? I have to forgive everything. The decree of, dear God, seize possession of my eyes. This happened when I was 27 years old. Make my eyes, make them see and visualize only your perfection forever, self-sustained. That's one. Scripture, if you see a twig in your brother's eye, take the log or beam out of your own. When I read that at 20-some, I was like, well, I better change what I'm doing here. So now, do you get, Joshua, everything you said is even physiologically accurate?
Yes.
Go ahead. I'm just sharing with you. Wow.
I'm profoundly blown away. I hope everyone else is.
Well,
And
how about I'm profoundly expanded in my consciousness.
I am profoundly expanded in my consciousness, and I choose to affect everyone around me.
Well, there is no one around you.
Mm-hmm.
How about I bless all life in me?
I saw life in me. Man. And we are all one.
Yes,
and we're all connected.
Yep.
And we're all the Father, and we're individually the sons. And what connects us is the Holy Spirit. And so I see this, it's profoundly beautiful, because
Who is?
I
You
am
said
profoundly
it.
beautiful.
Yeah. Say it again.
I am profoundly beautiful. Like, I totally get it.
Your
We
head
are-
said this, brother.
Yeah,
Your head was doing this.
You went, no, so there you go. And many, get your friends around, and when you're talking and going, no, and you make sure you get your head, yes. And I love you, brother. You're doing, this is the aha and discovery and finding a construct and architecture and language to be able to speak this stuff.
This is 5D technology, and we are entering a realm that doesn't understand the old realm. We are entering a realm that we create what we want, and we have to choose to understand, believe, and know and speak what we want and how we want it.
Yeah, you're still using want, dude.
I
am.
How about what we choose? And
What
by
we
the way, hold on. I'll give you, the old self dies as the new self is born. So if we take it, the old architecture cannot come into the new architecture. It's like a blood-brain barrier where the old has to completely compost itself to have our new.
Because our old can't hold the new that God has for us, because it's so far profoundly beyond what we can accept as our old self. We have to become a new self in order to accept the reality that we are creating.
How about we are already our new self? We're just remembering.
I choose to remember that I am all new,
So be it.
and we are all new.
I have the honor of being at the Westmoreland House tomorrow night, so I get to go bathe in the middle of all kinds of love. Janie, hi.
Hello. I just wanted to tell a little story that happened to me this afternoon. Took a friend to late lunch and she had a situation she was talking about, and I realized she was talking from the past. And I just started speaking life to her, and things changed quickly, and she saw the value of being present in the here and now. And to make a long story short, I asked for our ticket and somebody had picked up our ticket. I knew no one in the restaurant. I even went to the bathroom on purpose to see, to no avail. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that we get rewarded when we speak in love on people and vote their victory.
Oh man,
That's it.
so cool. What, you went to the bathroom to see if there's anybody hiding in the bathroom? Is that what you did?
No, just for a leisurely stroll through the restaurant to see if
got
I
it.
could see whoever did
I knew
it.
that, but I thought I'd play it up a little bit, so.
Thank you. Thank you. We always welcome miracle reports now and continuously. I'm aware we're at the top of the hour, and to honor people's time, if anyone has a burning desire to speak, do. What we've realized is we'd like to actually have an official conclusion of our time together and then stay on to answer questions. And for anyone we have some events coming up. I Am All New. The Westmoreland family reported to me today that their whole family is transformed as a result of being in our most recent event. And another one comes up August 4, 5, 6. If your heart already tells you to sign up, then sign up and come on. And if anyone has questions, then we'd like to stay on and answer questions for you. And then August 7th and 8th, people who are excited to do so are becoming instructors in Mastery Systems. Several of our incoming instructors are here tonight. You heard from Cynthia, you heard from David Daigle as examples, Adam, Rick, me. We're going to go ahead and let Bob become one of our instructors. And so please stay on if you have any questions. And if you'd like to just be part of the conversation to answer questions as well. We just realized let's commit to our hour and honor people's time. With that being said, does anyone have any questions for any of us tonight? But Mastery Systems is here to answer, and other people who choose to stay on can answer as well. David Daigle.
So I have a decree I use, and I choose y'all's input where I can upgrade. So I like to use this example that I think all of us can relate to daydreaming and driving in your car, and you get to your destination safely every single time. It's like, how? Well, I found out that's none of my business. But if I get my direction and destination in my subconscious, I get there. And so I was like, well, man, I think I feel my subconscious can do the heavy lifting without my conscious mind getting in the way if I program it like driving every single day. So listening to Florence, listening to Bob, Neville, and getting or The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph
Murphy.
Yes. So several decrees I've kind of taken and molded into my own, and I'd like to share my decree. And if you see somewhere I can upgrade, then I would love to hear it. And so whenever I go to sleep, I marinate, I say it before I go to sleep. When I wake up, before I grab my phone or anything, I say my decree. And then anytime I have negative thoughts about myself. So there's times when I'm tired and hungry and I'm like, how can I coach anybody? How can I facilitate? You don't even have a certificate, a degree, nothing. Who's going to listen to you? I'm like, whoa, what is this? Cancel clear. I recommit to thriving. So here's my decree. So I'll say, I have a wonderful business in a wonderful way that gives wonderful service for wonderful pay. The walls of lack and delay crumble away, and I move into my promised land with grace, peace, and ease. I create miracles and blessings everywhere I go. My health and wealth find me, and I find my health and wealth. I'm grateful for the protection over myself and my family so we can be happy, healthy, secure, fulfilled, adventurous, and free. And I use my voice to uplift others, and I ignite secure love everywhere I go. That's all I have so far. But saying that over and over has presented so many opportunities without me consciously doing anything.
I heard one.
Well, first of all, you kept saying without.
Okay.
So you just completely negated everything you just said.
Yeah, go back and
one.
look
Go
at,
ahead.
you said
Go ahead.
without lack, or, without stubbing my toe.
Without thinking about it.
With that, yeah. So without, it's a not, it's pointing you in the opposite direction
Yeah.
of what you're choosing. So read it and say, do I choose to have this happen with each word? I heard the word lack in there on a high level decree. Would you get the essence of what I'm saying?
Yeah, speak, and
so-
only have your decree have every word you love, not what you don't love, and then what you
Yeah.
fix.
Yeah.
And you also had a lot of does in there instead of
Okay.
my. Other than that, I
So
loved it. Anybody?
Yeah.
How many cruising right along?
It's fantastic. Put it in a Google Doc and Bobby and I'll play with it, and it'll be
But
fast, fun, and
I
easy.
recommend you go back, take the does and make them mine when you can.
yeah.
Yeah, instead of any of the old or without, just change all that into with what? So instead of without, struggle with what?
Ease.
I am.
With ease. You always
Yeah, with
take
ease.
the quality and make sure you reshape it.
Another thing you said was, so we can be healthy at the end. You're
Yeah,
talking
very
about,
good.
it's kind of like
Nice.
making a deal instead of declaring.
That process versus an outcome.
It's also conditional. I'll do this so I can have that. Yeah, I'd say you're 93% there, and the last 7%,
Wait,
the
wait.
angel's going to
Anyway,
surround you.
and I was going to call you Shemaiah. Scott,
can.
you're 90% there. There is no there.
Ah.
Oh,
True.
yeah, not wrong. Do you all get this? Is not saying it right. This is finding words that bring me into my now victory. So I recommend just start again and just see where it takes you. Am I talking about duality, or am I restored in my union? I thought it was beautiful, by the way.
Me
You probably
too.
could have sold
Thank you.
10 million copies and people would have been a little bit spazzo because you didn't connect them all
Yeah.
the way.
And what a powerful commitment, David, to yourself. I'm writing my own along the lines that's my heart song, the way you did it, and memorizing it and speaking it internally. Thank you for the example.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, it's led to many opportunities in coaching and sharing the wisdom of mastery systems. So, and I feel it's just like driving. I gave destination and direction, and I just was sharing with y'all to clean it up because I choose to be at my highest level. I choose my highest level right here and now.
Yep. And this is an ongoing editing process, everyone. How many know when you're perfected, you're invisible?
Yes.
Yeah, how many get when you've already made the ascension? How many go, not yet, I got a couple thises and that's, I'm gonna hang out okay, that it, whatever. I mean, I'm glad I can still see people and they can still see me. Anyone? You know, are you, I mean, somebody one time came up to me and said, it was in Mount Shasta. Woo. It said, are you, and that didn't finish. I think they were asking me if I'm an ascended master. And I leaned over and said, can you see me? Yeah, I'm still working on stuff. That was, it's like, you think I'd tell you if I was? How am I get that? Come on now, let's just vote victory. There's only one goal, and it is love. Yes, it's a path, it's a goal, it's the outcome, it's a resolution, it's the tool. And loving love is I can do that right now.
I love David's loving us enough to say, this is where I'm at, what you got. And we're our team is a perpetual support system in our environment we've created here. Our objective is you all the way online doing your dream, being who you are. And David's manifestation path includes a power decree for himself. So Joey, I knew your name without even looking now. You've been here enough that I'm starting to know you. Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to, just what he said just now. It's like I love working on my stuff. The stuff that I've been working on, Dave, and with the stuff that Dave has taught me for myself and just stuff like that. He's like, I love working on my stuff. It's become so like, I need to work on this. I need to work on that. I'm loving working on my stuff because it's bringing, I am where I am and I love where I am. It's exactly where I need to be. And Dave has brought me there and I am loving every step of the way of it. So I love like working on my stuff. That's all.
And it sounds to me like what you're doing is plurking. You're play working.
I just, I'm really happy that Dave brought me into this group and is showing me and enlightening me into everything that he has shown me, because I'm growing and I'm helping other people grow. And I am ecstatic and grateful and everything to be a part of this. And I just love it so much.
Awesome.
You are glowing. Please come play with us in I Am All New, August 4, 5, 6. You will have a joyful next level revelation. Just ask Joshua and his family. And you're glowing, by the way. You're super mega glowing. You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions or contributions? I saw a hand go up there. Was that Jewel?
Yes. Scott, the images that you showed earlier, are they available for investing in? Can I get one for a little boy I'm working with?
Yes, you can. So I can just take pictures of them and text them to you, or I can do color copies. So the answer is yes. I'm leaving for Alaska tomorrow. So if I can just take pictures of them, I can get them to you tonight. If I have to make a color copy to do it, you're going to put them on the wall. Yes.
And is he going to color one himself or put?
You need a blank one that he can color?
Well, I was thinking one that's already created. I mean, he does artwork, but me having time to encourage and get him there, we may not have that much time. So I thought if it was created already.
We're going to bring this back in
easier.
our new language course. We're still dancing in what's it called, and it's got every instructor is going to be teaching it. So we're getting the lead out; it'll be ready. But we're going to give a blank one of this for students of your classes to color as well. So let's just get on the phone real quick tonight, so I can understand the details of that and answer.
Awesome.
Jess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Thanks, everybody. Just wanted to say good night.
Oh, man,
Good night, Cynthia. Thank you for your beautiful piano. Well, last week we featured Annie and whoever did someone else step forward with music. Joshua, you committed to, and I'm still looking forward to your jams one of these times too. With that, we'll see you next week. There's a lot of transformation going on. Next week, we'll not have our Thursday event as our current expectation. I'll be out of town and a couple of other people are out of town.
Yes,
What?
we will. Yes, we will.
Good. So next week I won't be here, and have fun. I'm gonna be catching halibut and salmon, baby.
Yeah, so just watch for your emails. We will be letting y'all know, sending it with the recording, all that stuff. And yes, we will be here next Thursday.
There'll be a
Awesome.
very special guest next weekend.
Hey,
Or next week. Adam,
Sweet.
Dr. Rick and I, very special guests.
Yeah.
And all
Awesome.
y'all. So
Rick also scheduled our first healthcare practitioner event, and I'm looking again. I think it was the 19th, if I recall correctly.
Yes,
the
July
19th. And Rick, would you wax poetic about what is happening? David, I see your hand. Let's let Rick do this, and then we'll jump back in. So, what are we doing on the 19th, Rick?
We're gonna open the door for using the tool of My Word Made Flesh to support practitioners, people who work with people, doctors, massage therapists, social workers, using My Word Made Flesh as the tool and distinction, how to do it clinically with all sorts of fun asides about how's this really working? What's the science seem to be saying about this? How is it all of these mental concepts and ideas, how do we actually experience in our bodies our ability to heal and resurrect? And how do we make sure we share it with the people we're serving? How do we share their capability to resurrect moment to moment, every cell in their body to be full of life and feed, nourish, and thrive them, and then thrive their community? Period.
I'm there. Folks, I'm there. I'm here now. Wait. David Daigle.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Rhymes with bagel.
Someone asked for me to transcribe that decree, my song, on the chat. So I was asking for another minute of uplifting us. Maybe an idea came in that Bob could send us into the night with a decree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to share this now. Our world right now is oscillating. It's oscillating between old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new, old, new, between evil and live. So we just did our first real formal I Am All New. We have our next one coming up in the beginning of August with an instructor event following it. So they're all together for a number of days. So 2 additional days for instructor. This is the place to be. I personally, when we first did the session before that, which got focused into I Am All New, I simply said, well, I'm just going to stick with my team, my class, until everyone has every word and every decree manifest in their body. And that's what we did. And then this last class we did through Zoom, same thing. And people, we had, how many of you were there at I Am All New? And how many had shift? How many had more than maybe ever before? How many had that? So those that have done classes in the past, mastery or etc. If you've ever done classes, all for you, all for me, that particular class. This is a specific and high charged event. This is a class to be at. Your heart, I'm speaking right to your heart, so you know what I'm talking about. So the rational world would like to go, hey, busy. If you are one of the 144,000, you may benefit our world and yourself and your family by being present at this event. And that's really what I have to say, because it's your heart enrolls you. Normally, I just let people do whatever. I'm at the point now, it's time to shift this thing. How many gets time to shift it? How many can feel your hemispheres having a conversation in your brain? Raise your hand if you can feel that. Let's shift it. Let's have our decrees manifest. So I'm going to use the decree for tonight. If God is the only presence and power acting in me, through me, and around me now and forever. God is the only presence and power acting in, through, and around me now and forever. God is the only presence and power acting in, through, and around each nation now and forever. Stick with one decree until it becomes a fact in your world. Period.
Yes.
And anyone choosing to come, connect with Adam at masterysystems.com. He'll help you. And again, if you've done other classes with us, there's certain ways you can play the game with us. If you are a leader of other people, if you're a magnet for moving up scale, become an instructor. And it won't just be conscious language and I am all new. It eventually, shortly will be sacred body language, etc. The whole technology gets delivered through instructors, heart to heart, person to person. So come play. And your heart knows. I mean, we don't enroll people. You got to enroll yourself. This is way too big for that. And I still love the idea of somebody paying for my meal everywhere I go. Anyone else? That was so cool, Jenny. That was, yes, Dr. Rick.
Can we move the hosting over to someone as we finish? If there are any questions, myself and Adam and Scott, if anyone has any questions about our upcoming class.
I love you all. I'm going to give you this to you, Scott. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, and we'll stay on for specifically for people who have questions